very special guest, Dr. Coaster. How are you doing
What's
today?
up? Doing pretty well. Happy to be on here.
We've been planning this for a while. We've been talking about it, but life got in the way. You're a busy man, I'm a busy man, a lot of
We're
different
both
things.
busy.
We're very busy, but we still make time to make this content for you all. But we're going to dive into this. First, let me tell you the premise of the show, which is as if we were in a hypothetical queue line waiting to ride your favorite attraction. And while we wait, we have a simple conversation as friends. Yeah?
Sounds awesome.
All
Where are we
right. So
heading?
with that being said, let me ask you, what's your favorite coaster?
Favorite coaster, without a doubt. There's been a couple have come close, but it's going to sound super basic. Velocicoaster.
Velocicoaster. Hey.
Absolutely blew me away.
Which is crazy though. Like Universal to me is everything. I grew up with Universal in my backyard, that home park growing up in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And it has never let me down. It is an
That made
amazing
me an
park.
enthusiast.
Yeah. Oh, that's what made you in.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
What was
Not
your
Velocicoaster specifically.
or what?
More
Which was
Revenge
what?
of the Mummy, honestly.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. But nice. Revenge of the Mummy made you an enthusiast. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Tell me more about it.
So I discovered the Rickflix channel, which I'm sure a lot of
I've
people out there
met
are probably
him.
familiar
He's a
with.
very, very cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I discovered him like way back. I think it was like March of 2019.
Okay.
I think he probably had sub 10,000 subscribers at the time, honestly.
Oh, geez.
And
Nice. Yeah.
he kind of got me obsessed with the parks. And I was going on a trip with some friends from college.
Right.
And that's when
Mhm.
I initially found the channel. I was like just looking for some Easter eggs and stuff like that
True.
could have some fun with. And then was terrified of coasters at the time. Decided that, okay, I'll get on that one, but not Hulk and Rip Red Rocket. None of the other ones were open yet. Hagrid's didn't exist.
Right.
Was about to happen like a month later. And
Yeah.
then Velocicoaster was just starting to leak a little bit. I was
Right.
like, gosh darn it, I want to get on those coasters next time.
All right.
So
Did you end up getting
booked the trip.
Hagrid's, by the way?
I did
Okay.
Hagrid's in August of 21.
So you weren't into just like that before, which
Oh, no.
you mentioned that you became an enthusiast during that time. So what was your outlook on coasters beforehand?
Terrified me, to be 100%
Same.
honest.
Same.
Just didn't
Yeah.
want to get on them. I forced myself on a couple of quote unquote big coasters, like
Mhm.
younger years. I think I was in like 4th grade, and I
Yeah.
got on Georgia Cyclone,
Okay.
which was probably not the best introduction into coasters to be riding. I wish I got on it
True.
before they converted it again,
Right.
but I
Right.
didn't have a concept of airtime at the time. So
Right.
I thought I was legitimately like going to fly out of the train.
Right.
And then I got on like Space Mountain and Expedition Everest at Disney. Other
True.
than that, yeah, I was horrified of them until, got on Revenge of the Mummy. Then I came home, got
Yeah.
Six Flags Pass because they decided that like, all right, I got to get back to Universal within the next couple of years. Pandemic happened, got pushed back further,
True.
but
True.
got on Mindbender as my first inverting coaster, and then knocked out all
Oh.
the credits at Dollywood and Six Flags over Georgia, and the
Mhm.
rest is history.
So where are you originally from, though?
So I was born and raised in Atlanta.
Okay.
Been here
Yeah.
my whole life.
Okay. So you weren't a annual pass holder. You typically go to Six Flags? It was
I
just
went
a
to Six
thing.
Flags maybe 2 or 3 times as a kid, but I was like, probably didn't even hit the
Jeez.
height limit on some of the rides. Yeah.
Right. I mean, understandable, but like, wow, I know that's crazy to
Yeah.
know how you kind of become who you are today based off
Very
of
recent.
your origin story. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is very
Very
which
recent.
believe it or not, that's happened to a lot of people. Like for myself, for example, been in theme parks, like I said, my whole life, growing up
Mhm.
with Universal Studios.
Mhm.
Loved it, terrified of coasters. My first coaster credit was the Woody Woodpecker.
That's my
Yeah.
credit number 1. My first credit. I
Oh,
was like 2 or
same.
3 years old, and I think I was a half inch short, and the write-up gave me a pass.
Right. I remember
My
you
parents
told me
got it on
that.
home video. I need to find the home video and
Yeah.
post it somewhere.
Oh, definitely so. Wow, we have the same like number 1.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Love that.
But I remember like it had some speed to it. It had some
Yep.
get up. It
I
was
still like riding it. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. But no, that's really cool though. And then later on, didn't get on another. Well, 2006, I did Space Mountain. and I
That was
kind of
probably
remember
around the
it.
time I did
Yeah.
the Georgia Cyclone, and I
Okay.
hated it.
Right. And then 2009, I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being scared. I need to grow out of this. I'm ready to face my fears. If I can do this, I can do anything. This was like my life lesson. Like, it's time to do
Yes.
it. And I did Dueling Dragons.
Nice.
So before it became defunct.
I
Um,
chickened out of that one. Don't have that
yeah.
credit.
Oh, that I don't blame you, but then also I'm glad I did it. And at that time it was still dueling. So that was really cool.
Yeah. See, I would have only gotten one, which I think is almost worse because I wouldn't have
Yeah.
gotten both. And looking back, I would have been more frustrated.
True. That is very true. And then I did the Hulk. And after that, I was in love. And I was like, I'm not scared anymore. And then I did take like a hiatus and I didn't ride again for a while. Until let me see. Oh, Mako. Opening of like Mako was
I love me some
next.
Mako.
Yeah, and then so on and so forth, and then kept going from there. But yeah, that's kind of my origin story with coasters, that is. And then really got into it with the pandemic. I just was sitting there and I just
the pandemic did me no favors because I just sat on my computer and watched roller coaster videos.
pretty much the same. I was like, oh, what is this? I saw Park Pros, I saw Coaster Daddy, I saw Airtime Thrills, and it's like a lot of people who I became acquaintances with and also had on the podcast, and more to come, by the way. Which I'm speaking to you, El Toro Orion, that we're supposed to be doing this for like over a year now. And
that'd be a nice one. He's an inspiration for sure.
Yeah.
He gave me some advice when I was first starting up.
I meant to talk to you about that. If you want to share more on that, that was one of the things I wanted to chat about.
Yeah, so I actually sorry about that. I was watching a Coaster Studios live stream when they were doing like the Give Kids the World Village thing. And he was on there. I like chipped in a few bucks so I could ask him a question, help the kids out and everything. And I was just like, starting out, I got like 130 subscribers right now. This was December, I believe. I was like, what's the number one bit of advice you got? And he's like, be yourself and stick with it, and people will see that. And I've grown tenfold since then in 8 months. So I think I'd be like 1350-ish right now. Last time I checked. Extraordinarily grateful. And it's like what I always tell myself is just like, be myself. Don't try to play a character. Just be genuinely who I am. All those stupid SpongeBob memes and eating donuts in one bite. Like, guys, that's me.
Yeah, right. Just be yourself. I saw that. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
So if we crash, that's I lost power.
Yeah, that is true. By the way, for those who are listening and can't see, what we're talking about. Yeah, there was a lightning strike in the background. So hopefully he doesn't lose power. And same here. We're in like the same close
general area of Atlanta.
Yeah. So exactly. But no, that's pretty cool that you took that advice and you ran, and you definitely have. I wanted to mention to you, by the way, when I found your channel, this is always like a little segment that I always like to talk about. Like that, So yes, you mentioned like your channel growing, and definitely it has. And I've noticed, what was it? I have here, April 15th, you posted a video on Deja Vu. And around that time, you had 400 something subscribers when I saw that video. And that was, like I said, April. And then since then, you have grown tremendously. So that was my first introduction to you. But I did see your like ranking of Six Flags Over Georgia coasters video. I didn't watch it at the time. But I kept seeing it pop up on my timeline. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's my best performing video, and I hate it because that's one of my worst quality videos. I think that was my second upload.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was my second or third upload. Like that was like August of last year, so that was been like a year since now.
Yeah,
learned a lot more about editing and writing scripts and such since then.
Yeah, no, definitely. Which we're gonna touch on here soon, like origin of your channel to how it's evolved to now. But oops, guys, sorry, I forgot to put my phone on silent. That is on me. No problem. That's not me being professional. It happens. People message. I don't know. It
happens.
Yeah, it happens. But no, like I said, the Deja Vu video. 400 something subscribers. That was April.
Now that you pointed out, I kind of lose track of where I was.
Your growth is like your growth. It's crazy, it's very crazy to notice that. And how do you feel in general? Like, I know you don't always pay attention, but I know you notice it.
So I
Not
think
just
a
looking at
lot of it.
analytics, but like in general, like what is going on?
So yeah, great question. I think a lot of it is due to ArieForce One. I've definitely kind of cornered out the market in a way on that. I think,
Yeah.
as you can tell, I got literally sent a T-shirt by the park for my
Yes,
efforts.
you definitely have.
Very thankful. I'm
Yeah.
a little concerned about the growth in a way which I guess some people wouldn't expect, because I'm afraid that after the construction updates are over,
Right.
there's probably gonna be a little bit of drop off. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to continue to produce high quality
Others.
content
Yeah.
elsewhere on other
Correct.
parks and other coasters in general, because I don't
Right.
want to be known just for ArieForce One, even though it's obviously a pretty awesome thing. It's going to be an
It
incredible
is.
coaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, the growth has
Typecasting is
been
a thing, though. Typecasting in general is a thing. Yeah.
it's been a phenomenal thing, and I've definitely taken advantage of it. And I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to making other content as well. I think you're
Right.
going to ask me about some of that later. We talked about it earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, really looking forward to some big things.
Okay, no, definitely so. Done your thing with ArieForce One as the sole provider of it, because like your El Toro Ryan advice, you've become consistent every week. You're out there.
Mhm.
While myself, I'm sorry, I haven't. I haven't been
Would
life.
love to see you there, though.
Yes, that's true. Yes, I would love to run into you there too as
Absolutely.
well. Like you know, always like you've been there the day before, and then I'm like the day after. I don't know. It's just been like that. But life has happened.
Mhm.
Things that I haven't mentioned or shared just yet to my community as far as what has been going on. But as I've talked to you about, there are some
Yep.
changes also coming very
Mhm.
soon. I'm not
Mhm.
sure when this is going to be released. It might be before it happens or after, but you guys will know soon. But no, definitely, I've been watching your stuff since the beginning of the construction. And at first, I'm like, okay, somebody else is doing it. Let me have a look see to see what's going on. Then I realized, I'm like, wow, his voice is awesome in his
That was
record.
when I was still using this mic. Now I just use this as a headset.
It's
So
still
$17 Amazon Mac now mic, and now I've got my Blue Yeti right here.
okay, nice, nice. It still worked. And then yeah, the quality was good. The footage was very good. You were getting the shots that you needed and then doing the appropriate voiceovers. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So it's almost as if, in a way, because I'm a big person who does vlogging, it's
Mhm.
almost as if he's vlogging, but he's not.
That was
He's
the initial
covering
goal. Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it was to seem like a vlog in a way where it could be kind of
Ah,
personable and
yeah,
be very active in the comment section, but at the same time not have to like go out with, my camera flipped around towards me in a way.
correct.
Put the
Okay,
focus on the
wow.
ride in the park, I guess. Yeah.
I noticed that without actually knowing that. That's
Yeah.
pretty genius. I
But I
like
didn't
and
feel
it
comfortable on camera then either. So that was part of the reason why. And
okay.
then honestly, the main reason why I didn't want to
Yeah,
go out and vlog and show myself on camera, because I didn't want to be on camera yet. And
right.
then, which totally comfortable with now. I've done
Yeah,
some on video stuff and
true.
totally
Yeah,
cool with it.
let's talk about that for since you just brought that up. Like
Absolutely.
you recently just vlogged
Yeah.
and your vlog actually did well for your,
Mm.
just in general. How did it feel vlogging and was it a busy day when you did it?
So funny you said the busy part. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay,
Fun spot. I went early in the day just
of
because I
course.
always do to record.
Okay.
Um, I can't tell you how many bloopers and outtakes there were. I must have had like
It
30 minutes
happens,
of
man.
footage for the
Yeah.
14 minutes, just not,
Mhm.
not having done it
Of course.
before is a lot of cutting and splicing.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Um, but I actually went to Six Flags Over Georgia a few days later
Okay.
and did a vlog there. That hasn't been
Mhm.
released. Not sure if I'm gonna release it because it was kind of a cruddy day.
Yeah.
I feel like I was complaining a lot.
Okay.
So not 100% sure if I'll release that or not, but that was busy.
Okay.
So totally different.
How were the
Kind of
nerves?
they were there for sure.
Yeah.
I was waiting until kind of everyone funneled out of a queue, like
Okay.
out of the exit rather, and then I would walk down behind everyone else because I'm not wanting to like, hold up the camera. One,
Right.
some people don't want to be on camera. I don't want to, intrude there. And then two, it's
Mhm.
just like easier on me as well, as
Yeah,
far
no,
as the nerves that you
definitely.
just mentioned. Yeah.
Oh, definitely so. I've done the whole waiting for people to walk by and then film type of thing, but now if you watch my videos, I don't care. I
Yeah,
just feel like
an exposure therapy type of deal.
exactly.
You
And
just get used to
also
it.
if I'm yeah, you get used to it 100%. But especially if I'm going out of town to another park and I paid for that, I'm coming back with the best footage in the world because I paid for it. You're going
Mhm.
to get the best possible vlog ever.
Mhm.
And because I can't come back here as frequent, so I'm going to
You
give
want to
my
relive it
best
yourself
performance.
too.
Exactly. So the hype's going to be genuine. Not saying my, fun spot, Atlanta or Six Flags Over Georgia stuff isn't genuine. It definitely is. But that new type of hype, that new energy, that new excitement going to like people liked when I was excited about like the what was it, the backlot stunt coaster at King's Dominion, like, oh,
Oh,
this has
I
been around.
loved it at Kings Island. It blew me away.
Yes,
Was not
same here.
expecting the forces it
I
pulled.
same here. And then just me in general seeing that, I'm like, I've heard so much about this. I know it's not
Mhm,
anything grand or major, but for me, including you,
mhm.
that's new to us.
Yeah,
So
it's all
I'm
new.
excited. So
Woodstock Express at Carowinds, I was like, "This is airtime."
same, yes.
Totally geeked out over it, yeah.
So it's just small things for us enthusiasts that are kind of relatively new.
Mhm,
We're excited about these things. So
absolutely.
I don't know, but yeah, in general with me vlogging, a little trick that you might see, other than it's sunny out, what
Yeah,
helps me is wearing sunglasses
that's nice, yeah.
because I can see you, but you can't see my eyes. And it
Mhm,
makes me feel almost if like a superhero mask, this little inside story for those who don't know. It makes me feel like I'm hidden
yeah.
so I can do what I need to do. And I feel like I'm hidden behind a mask
Yeah,
and I
you can look
can
around and walk in a busy
exactly.
park better too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also with the sunglasses, by the way, if you big YouTuber Casey Neistat
Mhm.
mentioned this one thing about um another reason he wears sunglasses is, with the flip screen on a camera,
Yeah.
uh, it might be on the side, it might be on the top. With the sunglasses, you don't know where I'm looking. So I might be looking at myself on the flip screen
Mhm.
or the side screen to make sure I'm in focus and all that.
Yeah.
But you don't know that because I'm wearing sunglasses. But in reality, I'm not looking at the camera. So but it looks like it to the viewer, so that's a whole
Yeah.
another inside thing as well. But yeah, vlogging, it's a whole thing. And also you can
Totally
see
different world.
confidence, you can
Yeah, oh, yeah.
definitely see confidence with vlogging if someone holds the camera up and they're just doing their thing. Or a lot of people start out, including myself, they'll do it
Lower down.
lower,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, where it's like you don't want people to see it.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a thing, it's a
Yeah.
thing. It takes time and practice, energy.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
you don't always want to be on camera,
Oh, yeah.
but if that's your thing of vlogging, you have to perform
Mhm.
essentially.
That's
But
why
yeah,
I don't want it to be my target audience
yeah,
essentially, but I want it to be like something supplemental. Like I think
exactly.
a good example is Airtime Thrills, the way he
Hmm.
does it. Like they're
Hmm.
not super highly edited, they're down to earth, genuine, him and his family, but
Right.
his rest of his content is also like super solid.
Oh, so true. Like I said, man, one of my inspirations. And by the way, just about every, probably 98% of every guest on the Q podcast, we always end up talking about airtime thrills.
Yeah.
It
I
always
think he's
happens.
kind of become the gold standard, if you will. Like I
Definitely
know starting out when
consistency.
I
Yeah.
saw it, I was seeing his growth too. Like you talked about my growth as far as numbers and
Yeah.
confidence when the camera is concerned. With
Right.
him, he like openly encourages people like by stating that he started doing PowerPoints. Like he
Yeah.
recorded in one go, recording a
Yeah.
PowerPoint. And that was honestly
Right.
when I found that out, I was like, maybe I can do this YouTube thing because I started
Yeah.
off, just doing Instagram. And
Right.
then I saw Park Pros and what
Oh,
Cole was doing, and
yeah.
Cole is like my age, like
Mhm.
brown hair.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that looks
Shout
like
out to
me.
Cole
Like
Park
he
Pros,
could.
one of my
He's
good friends. Yeah.
he's been on here before too, and I'm like, if
Yes,
he could
yes,
do it,
yes.
like
Mhm.
I could kind of do it. And then
Right,
you
right.
got Taylor at Coaster Studios, also my age.
Mhm.
Like, granted, he's
Yep.
got like a cinematography degree, and everything is like
That
super
he
well
does.
done.
Yeah,
But
that
it's
is
like I'm
true.
seeing people that are similar to me doing these things. I'm
Mhm.
like, maybe I've got the time. Maybe I can, even
Right.
though I'm busy, I can put in a little bit of effort and yeah, started doing it December of not this. Sorry, Instagram started December of 2020. YouTube started May of last year, I believe.
It was May. I
wasn't
did my
consistent
research
for a few months
Yeah.
when I was warming up.
Yeah, I did my research. It was May. It was like late May of 2021.
When they announced this.
Yes. Yeah.
First video.
So actually, but did you ever make any videos, by the way, before I continue? Did you ever make any videos early on and then delete them?
Did not.
Some people do that. Okay.
Did not. I had when I was younger, I made some gaming videos.
Yeah. I think that's how everybody starts out. That's how I started out, by the way.
Yeah, that was probably 6-7 years ago. I made 3 or 4 gaming videos and then stopped.
You're right.
Wasn't anything super serious.
Can we find that footage somewhere, or did you?
Maybe I've got them. I might have to release them some point.
You got to, man. You're building a community.
Maybe a 5K special.
Yeah, you're building a community, which I want to touch on really quick, and then we're it's a podcast, it's a conversation. We're bouncing back and forth. Yeah, absolutely. Your community, my goodness, it reminds me. I'm not gonna say of mine because everybody has their own community, but I'm pretty sure we share a lot of people in our communities with our. Because I see some people commenting on yours. I'm like, hey, get back here. You're in my community.
Videos,
Get back here. No, I'm just joking. But your community has grown so much. When you post something on your community tab, people are very receptive of it.
Yeah.
And that also is a part of consistency with that. Consistency with the videos. They know, I always said this, it's almost like a sitcom, a TV show, The Masked Singer, anything, reality TV. Any show is always going to come out on the same time each week, Monday at 8 p.m., something of that sort. You do that in a way, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't have a specific day, but you should expect almost every week, somewhere between Friday and Sunday, there'll be a video.
That's what I notice. Yeah, and it's usually around 6 p.m., around that time. I pay attention to people. And plus, with any podcast, and I have a guest, I do research, by the way.
Absolutely.
But yeah. It's always around that time, Saturday, Sunday-esque, around 6 p.m., and you hit your target audience. They're very receptive of it, and I'm sure you wake up the next day. Tell me about that, by the way. You wake up the next day, you post a video, go to sleep, you're like, okay. And then you're looking at 5,000 views overnight. How do you feel? I
haven't hit that point yet, but I've seen...
You have come close with the backstage tour one.
Did I really?
That. Yeah.
Okay. Then yes, that one was.
How do I know more about your videos? Maybe I know I do.
Story about that one.
Yes, please enlighten us.
Day.
Did you?
I worked that day. I had a Sunday shift.
Oh, geez.
And I went afterwards because I was supposed to do the day before on an off day. The weather was sucky, and the reason I was there
consistently for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I was there initially was to get photos for FunSpot to use.
Really?
They've reached out to me multiple times now, like, hey, could you while you're there just grab this for us, do this thing? I'm like, absolutely, I'd love that.
Very nice.
So I was doing that. Eric is the I don't know if he's the manager or director of operations, whatever his position is. Awesome guy. Right. Went and got the hard hats. We went back there. I was like, would you mind if I just took some videos? He's like, yeah, sure. And he just walked me around the entire front of the ride.
That's
and I was
epic.
Like, this is perfect.
Right.
Being able to have a hard hat tour of any coaster, especially one being built by my favorite manufacturer too. It's
right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that it happened like that. That's pretty epic that it unfolded in that way. Oh, that's really cool.
Waking up the next morning, like you said, I think the bigger thing for me is I wake up and see 20 comments. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's the engagement thing.
Same. Yeah.
It's funny. You can look at, for people that aren't familiar with YouTube analytics, you can go in, you can see your watch duration and all that stuff. And my vlog, for instance, I pulled up the vlog a few days later, and the watch duration, as soon as because I used this a similar thumbnail to all my ArieForce One updates, because it was a very similar video.
Yeah.
And there's a steep dip from 100 to 50% in the first 10 seconds. Because people are clicking on it expecting, oh, this is an update.
Update.
Click on it, and it's more of a vlog style update. And they're like, oh,
exactly.
but it still did pretty well. I was like,
No,
I'm
it did.
thankful
Like
for it.
I
But yeah,
definitely mentioned that. Yeah, definitely
yes, it's
so.
pretty cool. The subs. I
Mhm.
remember one time going to bed and waking up with like 50 subs. I was like, whoa, because
Right,
at that point in time, that's like this huge deal.
right. No, definitely so. Like your subscriber growth, honestly, it's just like noticing from each week when you upload something,
Mhm.
you correct me if I'm wrong. It's definitely, I'll just say this, I'll throw out a number.
Mhm.
Each week, you're probably gaining close to 100, 50 to 100.
I'm averaging 250 to 300 a month right now. The past like 3 or 4 months, so that would be a little like somewhere between 50 and 100 a week, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. I'm like, it's crazy and it's beautiful.
yeah.
Those listening,
So grateful.
consistency is everything. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm saying this, and yes, no, rather, I haven't been as of late, but again, life is happening a lot, a
Mhm.
lot. But I still keep positive vibes only. But
Absolutely.
again, things are changing, and there will be consistency. As mentioned, I hear thunder, by the way, in the background. I have
It's
curtains,
moving
so
your way
probably
now.
exactly. I'm sure there's lightning out there, so we'll hopefully not lose power or anything. But
Absolutely.
no, definitely consistency is king. We've learned that with airtime thrills, every like 2 videos a week minimum,
Mhm.
spot on, same time. It's like watching a TV show. You know, oh, I had a long day, I'm gonna watch this. Oh, I had a long
Yep.
week, I'm gonna watch Dr. Coaster. All of that. You know when to expect something to happen. And that's how growth occurs. And of course, good quality, keep growing. Like you said, you invested in a mic, a different mic.
Mhm. Yeah.
Improve what you can. So that's epic. That's awesome. Mentioning Dr. Coaster, tell us the
Mhm.
origin of that name.
So the origin of the name, love telling people this story because
Okay.
I am a doctor of physical therapy student. Started
Craziness.
in my first year is kind of the bubblings up of the coaster enthusiasm, if you will. And I was like,
Right.
you know what? I've been on a few trips. I'm gonna start posting a couple pictures. I
Hmm.
had like maybe 5 or 6 pictures I could use at the time.
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna start an Instagram page, and I was like, what am I gonna call it? And one day, just light bulb went off. I was out for a walk. I was like, Doctor Coaster. I was like, that's taken. There's no way that's not taken.
And it
And
was
I went on the Instagram and
yeah,
went on
of
the YouTube and typed in Doctor Coaster, making sure like I wasn't gonna rip anyone
course,
off.
that's what you do. Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't there, and I just like jumped on it. I was like, I gotta have
Come
this
on
name.
now. You're
And then
right.
I sat down and
Mhm.
designed a logo, which I'm terrible at artwork or any sort of
Right.
design.
Oh,
And
you
like
did
I
your
found a
logo?
I did made it
Oh,
myself.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tell those who are listening what is your logo.
so my logo is a hybrid stethoscope roller coaster.
How creative is that? You
I
guys got to
love
see
it.
it too, by the way.
Yeah.
So you can definitely, which we'll plug it later on. Head to the link in the description down below to see his channel, also his Instagram, all that. Definitely check him out. But you'll also be able to see his logo in that too. Pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of the origins of the whole Dr. Coaster thing. Then
Mhm.
never really looked back. Um,
Did you
yeah,
dabble
met
with
some.
other names beforehand?
I did not. That was the
No
first one.
way. That was the
That was the
first one.
that was the first one came to mind. I was like, how can I
Jeez.
like make something unique to me, kind of shows off me in a way
Yeah.
without really giving too much away, if you will. Because at the time I was like, I wasn't planning on being on camera.
Right.
Didn't think it would go anywhere. Maybe I'd make a YouTube video down the road.
Yeah.
YouTube was like still 6 months down the road at that point when I made my Instagram page.
Right.
And then yeah, one thing led to another, and now here we are. I go to parks and like people stop me and start talking to me. I'm like, yes.
Right.
And
Right.
first time this happened, I
Mhm.
am waiting in line in the station at Fury, rode this coaster with 2 kids that were, I don't know, probably 14, 15 years old, not
Mhm.
100% sure. Just
Right.
started chatting with them. We get off the ride and, found out they're from Atlanta. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to, just talking about Atlanta Coaster Enthusiast. You might have come up. I don't remember exactly what the conversation was. And
Mhm.
they're like, oh, yeah, Dr. Coaster's from Atlanta. And I just like froze. Like I had made like maybe 10 videos at that point. I mean,
I always want yeah, that's an epic moment. Please keep
I
going.
like pulled out my phone. I was like, yo, here's my YouTube studio page. I had like 273 subscribers. So I remember specifically looking at the number. And I
Yeah.
was like, I gotta remember this moment.
Seriously epic. At 200 and something subscribers too, you had that moment.
Yeah.
I don't even know when I had that first moment for myself where somebody recognized me, which
I think I've uploaded almost every week since then, except for the week I had COVID. I skipped uploading the week I had COVID for obvious reasons. I was
rightfully
laid out in the
so.
bed behind me here,
Yeah.
like miserable.
Right. No, I definitely understand that and can relate. But no, that is pretty cool. Also that you only had one name in mind, by the way,
Yeah,
this whole time,
yeah.
which
I mean, yeah,
relates to you for one. And two, the more and more I started watching your videos and listening, it made me think like, in a way, it's a fun lecture. Like
Mhm.
you're a doctor, like breaking down what's going on as if you're holding a class and it's like, hey guys, here are these x-rays to the rest of the people
Mhm.
that are learning. It's
Yeah.
like he's breaking it down as
Try to be
far as
very educational with a lot of my stuff. I don't want to just talk about like, oh, airtime intensity. Like, I want to like, I'm a big history nerd too. Like,
same.
return here. There's a picture of
Yeah.
JFK like over my shoulder, over here.
Yeah.
Had to, just a lot of different historical stuff I've got in my room that you can't see. But
Hmm.
I love digging into the history of coasters too. Like, so I always lead off, if you notice, if I ever do a coaster review or rankings video, like
Right.
I mentioned the year the park opened, defunct coasters, what year a coaster opened,
Hmm.
what manufacturer made it, if another manufacturer came in and redid it, like, Gwazi to Iron Gwazi, that type of deal.
Right. Right.
I just, yeah, that's another Airtime Thrills, I guess, antidote you can definitely
Hmm.
see on my channel. Inspiration, however you want to
Yeah.
put it.
Okay.
Definitely thing probably pulled from him. We have a lot in common, me and him.
Right.
We're huge
Right.
baseball fans, like history nerds. Love talking to him when I get the opportunity. I can't wait to see him come out to Atlanta for
Oh, definitely.
ArieForce One.
Right. Right. He was here recently,
Yeah, I was
too.
working. He was at Six Flags Over
Okay.
Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
With
was
his
working
family
too.
though, so it's like I don't bug people when they're with their
True.
families.
Absolutely. Yeah. Understandably so. But no, that's pretty cool to know the logo, which by the way, I always thought that was cool because I remember seeing you did a Instagram story post like about your logo, and then you told like a little story of
Oh yeah,
your
I did one of those
logo.
add yours. Yeah, those sticker
Yeah,
things that people have been doing,
exactly.
like
And
add your favorite B and M. Yeah, it
I
was.
never noticed what your logo was. And then when you mentioned it, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It works.
I sat down and I was like, I gotta come up with a logo. And I got this idea. I think we must have been doing blood pressure in school or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure. Like, we were working with stethoscopes, must have been. And like, I
Yeah.
saw like a stethoscope kind of wrap around. I'm like, that's a vertical loop.
That new coaster mindset of yours, enthusiast
Yep.
mindset, was just like, let's do this, and it's working for you.
Yep.
And
And
then
I've got
just jumping.
classmates now that welcome me to class as Dr. Coaster. It's freaking hilarious. I
Oh,
walk in this
really? They
class.
know about your channel?
I
Oh,
told a
that's
few of them
epic.
about it, and then I
Yeah,
went public when I did the face reveal like about a month ago.
yeah.
And like basically they all know.
And are they receptive, or are they like
I haven't been back
welcoming
to
of it?
class yet since then because
Oh,
we were in
okay, that
clinic.
makes sense.
We're off on
Yeah,
all of our rotations, and then we come
right,
back at the end of August.
right.
So when I move
Okay,
back to school, I'm sure I'll get some more people talking to me about roller coasters, which I hope so. I'm going to convert some of them, man. I want
that's
to make some
true.
enthusiasts.
Hey, make it
Yeah,
happen slowly but surely.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
I've got one friend I'm working on. His name's Devon. Devon,
okay.
if you're watching this,
You're up
we're
next.
getting you on some coasters, man. It's gonna
Exactly.
happen.
Everybody's scared at first. Start out with something that's more your speed, and then you'll get
Mhm.
there. We all were, just like we told our origin stories. We were terrified.
Terrified.
It happens. It
Mhm.
happens. It's unusual, but
Yeah,
then it becomes a amazing like sensation. It
yeah.
Some people don't like that. I don't know about you, like the whole like butterfly in the field, like stomach, that
I
drop in
don't really
stomach
get
feeling.
that with
Oh, you
drops.
don't? Some people
No.
don't, but
Yeah,
that's interesting. I get
because
it,
I
and I actually
initially
love
didn't
it.
like that feeling. Maybe it's just used to it, like that I'm
Yeah,
used to it. I don't know. But yeah,
I
I'm
think so
just
too. Yeah.
I think just floating out of my seat is really all I feel, and that's all
I
that
think
matters.
it's oh,
That
I
that's
think,
just
yeah, you
bliss,
do get used to it,
pure
but
bliss.
it's amazing though. I agree, I agree. Quick
Airtime with
question,
intensity every day.
ejector or floater?
Ooh. Okay. Ejector without shin
By the way,
guards
for those
is the
who
best
don't
ejector.
know, we're talking airtime, just in general for those who are
Yeah.
listening. Just
So
so
I think I gotta go B&M floater
Hmm,
over anything, like a 5-second airtime hill. If it's not a 5-second airtime hill, like something on like Mako
oh,
or
Mako, come on,
yeah,
man, Mako, you're just
or
yeah,
an RMC, the biggest problem I have is, or Premiere, or any of these other models that are popping up, like Icebreaker, the shin guards. absolutely wreck me.
And how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Okay. Yeah.
So I complain about that on my channel a lot.
Yeah.
So anyone who's watching this that came over from my channel, they're probably sick of hearing it by now. But yeah,
Right.
I am a shin guard hater, lap bar lover, clamshell ride or die for sure. So I think I'd have to go
I'll rock with you on
floater
that.
over any other airtime. But if it's not a 5-second airtime hill, probably give me ejector.
Yeah. I actually I like your response. I think it's really good. It's solid. I'll take it and run with it. I like it.
I ran around with it a little bit, but Mako's 5-second hill was my first experience with like that level airtime. Like I'd done Goliath, but
that was my first hyper.
Y'all, Goliath versus Mako. I'll get some.
I talk about this
like intensity.
We got to pause there, man. I talk about this often. Which one do I rank higher of my favorite B&M hypers? It's between the two.
Yeah,
they're definitely close. But I get stuck between the two. They're both beautiful in their own right. We'll talk about. We're not going to do a full review right now, but just in general.
No, you're good.
Goliath.
I've done both actually. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Goliath, how it leaves the park and comes out. That's amazing to me in general. Those airtime hills, those elements, the downward like spiral is intense. It's amazing. Different things. Has gotten a little bit rough. It's still amazing. It's still super epic. That 5-second airtime moments that you have on Mako and over the water and how beautiful they keep and maintain that part.
Every ounce of that drop too.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Yeah. So maybe in this moment of this podcast recording, I'm taking that right now since I'm like fantasizing over it, but it may change later.
Yeah.
It just
and to give
go ahead.
To give people an idea of my rankings, if you will, of those, I'm going to do my top 25 at the end of the year, but I think Mako is around 8 at the moment, and Goliath is like 15. So they're pretty close. I have 99 credits at the moment.
Right.
So like I don't hate either ride. The Helix tries to kill me some days though. So you got to make sure you're very well hydrated and not going on a very warm day. Although I know people who do love that. So it's like, I
personally like it.
Pass out.
in mentioning staying hydrated, I remember like getting roasted and getting made fun of I-305 at King's Dominion. Like I was like, I'm not
the Black Coaster meetup, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, I'm not gonna drink anything. I don't care. It's hot. And they were like, okay, do that. I was just joking, by the way. Don't ever do that. Stay hydrated if you're gonna ride that thing, because you will gray out. It happens. Just accept it. And by the way, if you ever, I don't know if you want to say a interesting time, I'll use that word. But look at the ride photos after of just people.
Yeah,
you're just people knocked out. Just literally, it happens. Mike calls
all the time. Night the ride.
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah,
I love that. That's like my favorite like slogan, nickname, whatever you want to call it. And I think in the coaster community, I've seen.
And shout out to Airtime Mike. By the way.
I chuckle. Yeah, shout out Airtime Mike. Every time I see that, I chuckle.
He's not wrong though, man. If like you've been on it, and for those who haven't, he's not wrong.
And he's reading
it's an amazing experience.
He wrote it like 85 times in a day. I don't know what the exact number was.
He like told us that when we were there, and I'm like, there's no way. I was like, I can do 4 max in a day at this point.
It's one of those. Yeah, Goliath. Yeah. Like I normally tap out after about 5 on Goliath on a warm day. If it's cooler out, like December, I could ride it pretty much all day.
I've had friends that have done. I think the max they said was 32 in a day on it, and I'm like, that must have been like a Monday during summertime.
I get headaches really easily too. So That's probably more the reason I gotta tap out more than it is like,
that makes sense.
Pass out. Yeah.
We don't need that. You're the doctor. You're supposed to be
Dramamine and ibuprofen on almost every coaster trip.
Oh, really? Okay. Hey,
it works. Motion sick too.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, part of the grind, I guess, of being an enthusiast. Right?
Is it really bad though for you? Like as a coaster enthusiast? Oh, geez.
Oh, well, not just much on coasters. The last coaster that did it was actually a combination of coasters, because I went to Carowinds on Passholder preview day, and I wasn't sure what crowds would look like.
Right.
So I went and did Copperhead Strike,
of course,
and then I did Afterburn, and then I did Flying Cobras. Not a good combo for inversions go.
That's true.
As inversions go. Normally coasters don't bother me. It's more of a screen ride thing, like the Simpsons ride, for instance, or Forbidden Journey. As long as I take Dramamine, typically not bad. But if I don't take Dramamine, it's like, oof.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta sit down for a while.
Yeah, I can see what was it? Flying Cobra's getting that, like topping that over for you. Yeah, those it can be intense. Boomerangs, I'm telling you, one of the few times I've grayed out. It happens.
Oh my god,
man.
in Vertigo at Kings Island, I did that in June.
Yeah.
That's, I think, outside of Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over Georgia and Goliath's Helix, that's the most intense coaster I've ridden.
Please pause there on Batman. Everybody, tell me your thoughts on our Batman at Over Georgia. How epic and intense.
Another Batman. I have ridden Montu. I have ridden Raptor. I have ridden Banshee.
But how intense is our
B&M invert I have ridden?
Yes,
it's Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over Georgia.
Shout out to Airtime Mike who agrees. Shout out to Destination Thrills who agrees.
I've heard it multiple places. Yeah.
It's that good. It is intense, especially at nighttime. You can't see anything. Yeah, it's super intense, and I always say that. And I'm glad people see that, including yourself. Yeah, it's epic.
My last visit, I've never blacked out to date. I haven't blacked out. That's pretty close. It was like in the 90s, and it was
it was moving.
It was booking.
Yeah, man. No, I definitely agree. It's epic. We're blessed to have it. By the way, in general with Georgia, which also this is going to segue to something else, we kind of have a nice like collection of. It's not one of the greatest. It's not also it's not bad. It's very balanced.
Balanced.
And especially in close proximity, we have a lot. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. That leads me to the segue of Georgia Coaster Connection.
Yes.
Tell me, how did that form, and how did you meet her?
So Georgia Coaster Connection, I can take absolutely zero credit for whatsoever. That was 100% Christopher's brainchild.
Right. Oh, really?
We've been active in DMs since my very early days as an enthusiast, just Georgia Enthusiast connected. And then I think the first time I really talked to him, I was at Fun Spot Kissimmee.
Oh, really?
And couldn't find Hurricane to save my life. I had actually left the park because I was like, I'll be back. I'm coming to Florida again. I'll be here every year, basically. I'll get the credit then. I've got Screaming Eagle. I can go ride, whatever.
Right.
So I get a message from him actually at the same time. It's GP Angela. So Angela, for y'all that are familiar, also a coaster enthusiast, she DM'd me as well. I got messages from both of them.
Right.
And that night I ended up chatting with both of them for the first time, actually. And both good friends at this point. Haven't met Angela yet. Have met Christopher a couple of times. Yeah, he texted me one day. He's like, I got this crazy idea. I'm like, let's hear it. And he's like, I want to do a page joint with somebody else just about Georgia coasters specifically. I was like, sounds good. I'm in. And that was right around, I guess, where reels were starting to boom a little bit.
Yeah.
So we posted a couple of reels, and to our amazement, like hundreds of thousands of views.
Right.
Combined. We have a few that have cracked 100K, but I meant in
exactly
combining with each other. And I started shouting it out in all my ArieForce One updates,
and it's
trying to grow it out a little bit. And we had this idea of, let's do a meetup sometime, but we never really set it in stone. So I texted him a few weeks ago after we had met up, because I meant to ask him in person, because we got a fun spot together fairly frequently.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we should do it at Six Flags Over Georgia. Let's do it the 21st. It's like, yeah, sounds great. So it started off with this Instagram page, now grown to over 4,000 followers.
Right. No, I think it's definitely amazing. I love what the Instagram page is doing. Of course, it's become highly focused on ArieForce One, which I understand, but just in general, from its origin, how it was very diverse, and it showed a lot of different coasters and different things from different parks.
He's been to all the parks. I have not.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought you have too.
Yeah, so I'm sitting at 99 credits at the moment. Was hoping to make ArieForce One my 100th credit, so I've been holding out. Had plans of going to Lake Winnie and Wild Adventures, making it up to Georgia Mountain Coaster and the State Fair this year. I wanted to complete, the whole state.
Right.
Not sure when ArieForce One's going to open, which is looking like I'm probably going to have to find another 100th coaster. I'm thinking maybe Guardians, which I'm sure we'll get
just
to.
make it worth your while.
A bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
make it worth my
Mhm.
while, and then I'll get to the other parks in Georgia within the next year.
Right.
It's the definite plan. But yeah, Christopher's been to all of them. So anything you see from Wild Adventures or Lake Winnie,
yeah.
all him.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. Him and I talked about Lake Winnie because 2 years in a row now I bought a ticket to go and I haven't been yet, including this year. And I'm like waiting. I'm like, I'm gonna make time before they close for this season, so I'm gonna make it out there. And we DM'd about it and stuff. I've known him for a while because he started primarily focusing on YouTube at at the beginning, and then he
started on YouTube, moved to Instagram.
Yeah, and then moved to Instagram and has found great success. But early on when he did YouTube, him and I would chat because, of course, with me being in Georgia, him as well, we would talk about different things, and I'd supported him, he supported me. By the way, I'm mad at you, Christopher, with what you told me about your origin story of the page. Why wasn't I asked to be a part of this?
I think maybe somebody talks so often. I don't know what the deal is.
I'm going to ask you this in person when I see you again. Because I want to know, why haven't I been asked to join? And also, no, but all jokes aside, I think it's amazing though, and it's fun to keep up with, and just in general, how much it's grown. And then also to you, how much you shout it out as well in your videos at the beginning. I think that's really amazing because you don't have to, and also like saying Christopher's name in the videos, you don't have to. Yeah.
There's photos and video and stuff that he's gotten that I wouldn't be able to get because there was a party or something that was blocking the way, and he happened to go at a different time.
Okay.
And I've got another buddy, Chris Throwquark on Instagram. I've forgotten to get some stuff before. Message him like, "Hey, you got this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." I'm like, "Awesome, you're getting a shout out."
Right. No, definitely
like super important, and like we're all good friends too. It's just like going back to the whole coaster connection thing. That was actually Christopher's wife came up with the name.
Oh,
it was initially going to be the Georgia Coaster Collective. Yeah, Georgia Coaster Collective, which I kind of like.
But I like what you have now, though. Yeah,
I like it better too because my favorite band is a band called Wren Collective. They're a Christian band based out of Northern Ireland. They're like a folk style thing. I'm like, I like that. My favorite band, and he's like, how about Connection? I'm like, I like that even better. So
we're going with that.
We stuck with that and ran with it, and so grateful we did. I think we started that in maybe February.
This past February?
2022.
Jeez.
Yeah, very.
I meant to ask that. I did not know that. My goodness. Wow.
And ArieForce One was kind of the inspiration to initially start it, I think.
Okay, really?
Just because, we wanted to be able to cover it, and then also just to showcase everything else too. But we knew ArieForce One is like really popular right now. So it's like seeing the success I was having on YouTube kind of starting to bubble up as well. I was like, hey, just throw this all together. Although at YouTube at the time, I was at like 200 subs, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
So let's go back to that now. When did you realize that you had like a gold mine on your hand with covering ArieForce One?
The first construction update. When I found track on site. I think I was the first one. I might be wrong. I think I was the first one to break the news that there was track officially on site. Gavin over at Fistful of Thrills was the first one to break that the support showed up. Okay. I was like, I'm just going out there one day. Didn't even know it was opening day. Showed up at the park. I thought it was just going to be the arcade and the small parking lot open. I was going to get some shots. The ride had just gone vertical. So I was like, I'm going to cover this. This is going to be my first update. Found the track on site. I was like, okay, I'm going to make an update about this. I posted it, and the first day, I think I got 1,000 views.
Right.
Which I had never touched anything. Like I would get like maybe 30 views my first day. Like nothing anywhere close to that. And I was like, let's dig a little deeper. And then there's been they're averaging about, I think, 4 to 5 right now. And there was one that has like 10. I don't know what that one got.
Yeah, that was I think just in general what it was about. Yeah, it was like good news, bad news. About the
emotional feel there.
Exactly. I think people wanted to know what was going on. What was the bad news? Was construction going to be halted? Was it going to finish? Like, what was going to happen? So I think
that has double the views of any of my other ones.
I think it was like, it's not clickbait because you really did talk about something, but like you used
what I aim for.
You used the thumbnail to your advantage, and of course the title, and it made people click. So it was legal clickbaiting. Good.
And that's what I've noticed for anyone who's out there starting this, try to do YouTube. You want to do what's kind of called the click test. It was taught to me by some content creators when I was starting out, just when I was trying to figure out how to get people's traffic to my video. And the trick is go to your homepage, look away from your monitor, refresh the page, and look back. What's the first one that catches your eye?
Nice.
And it's like the bright colors. So you'll notice my earlier construction updates and earlier videos in general, they were very bland. Yeah. Like kind of just red and blue.
Right.
Red in particular tends to not stick out on YouTube because YouTube is red. Yes. So I started going with the neon green. Right. Because it really pops out the page, grabs people's attention. And then I can also contrast that with red. Like the good news, bad news. That was my first video where I was like, light bulb. Yeah. Like I can make a thumbnail now. Yeah. And then I've gotten good at deleting background. I don't know if I said gotten good. I've gotten better at deleting backgrounds in Photoshop so I can take, a picture of a coaster. Like if you look at my Velocicoaster review, which is like my most recent.
Which was really, yeah.
And it's like,
and I like that thumbnail too, by the way.
Cleaner at being able to pop those things up. It's just kind of a general process, guys. You look at my first thumbnails, listen to my first commentary.
Like, I meant to say, like early on, your earliest videos, I can see, which is like everybody else, including myself.
I was super nervous too.
Yeah, and trying to figure it out, thumbnails, and then you found your way.
There's nowhere to go but up, guys.
Yeah,
seriously.
I always say this on this podcast: hit record, just hit record, and just figure record. And don't stop. You're not. Some people do, yes, they hit strike gold early on. Shout out to them. But I remember, like with myself, hoping to get. This is weird, but I've said this before. Hoping to get 10 views early on. Double-digit views, hoping to get 3 comments of engagement. That was something I really worked on early on. Was like, okay, I started getting views, but I need people to engage. I need people to talk to me, not just watch. Because you could be watching
your comments, people.
Exactly.
Reply to your comments.
oh, that's a big thing. If you watch, same thing. I notice you do the same thing that I do.
You do it as well. Yep.
Every single one, no matter what it is. Respond. People take their time out to watch your video and comment. And Gary Vee, by the way, if people don't know, he's big on like just in general. Yeah. He mentioned this like with Instagram. Oh, why am I not growing? If you're not responding to people and you think you're too big, I get in general, if people have 100,000, 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, that gets to a point where you can't.
But if you're not at that level, please respond to everybody.
Yeah, like I might get 30 or 40 comments on my ArieForce One updates, for instance. Yeah. That doesn't take long.
But also it helps that 30 comments, you responding, that's now 60.
Yep.
It looks like. So that's, by the way, going to push it through the YouTube algorithm more because more people are, it looks like you have more comments. Yep. It's all a game. You just got to learn it and play it. So yes, like you said, and I'm glad you mentioned that, respond to everyone if you can. Yep. You're not better than anybody.
And just enjoy what you're doing too. That's the most important. Like, we're both so enthusiastic about coasters and theme parks. That's like, it's sometimes maybe I'll complain about something a lot, but it's like, it's because I love theme parks so much. Like, I'm going to complain about a ride being rough. I'm going to complain about Six Flags not having the best management. You know, it's just going to happen. Like,
yeah, I understand.
That's a recent event. Anyways,
that's a whole
we're not going to go down that route.
Yeah, I haven't touched on that. Just to slightly bring that up, I haven't touched on that because of like, it's a weird like situation. Yeah, it's very touchy. And
I'm worried about the company as a whole, to be honest with you. But
I'm not at this moment. Not at yet.
This moment.
More would have
business perspective for me.
Yeah, more would have to progress for me to get to that point. But just locally, it's interesting. I'm curious to see what's going to unfold soon. But yeah, that's a whole other thing, like you mentioned.
Not gonna lie, my dream is Hershey buying Six Flags over Georgia, but I'm gonna make a video about that one day. Hershey is based out of Atlanta, Georgia. For y'all that don't know,
that's true. That is very true.
They could completely flip that park on its head. And I'm saying that as a fun spot lover as well. Like, I'm like letting my bias aside a little bit.
Right. I actually agree with that. And
the more great parks, the better. Six Flags over Georgia is a great park. It is. It's on some hard times.
Something. Yeah, I
It'll
agree.
get through
I
it.
agree. Yeah, I agree. It definitely will. Mentioning of happy times and bad times.
Yeah.
What is your favorite theme park memory? Of course, maybe it might be your construction backstage tour. But
Mhm.
other than that,
Other than that one, yeah.
definitely. What would be your second? If that's your number one, what's your second?
Hmm. Other than just the initial first visit to Universal when everything kind of clicked,
Right.
I'll put that one aside too because that's kind of
Okay.
a given. I think my return trip to Florida.
Okay.
That was kind of my like. Sorry, all my dog's whining. If you hear that off camera, my bad. She's
Yes,
cute.
his
It's okay.
his dog is in the background joining us on this Q podcast episode. It's all good here. More the merrier.
But
Yeah.
my return trip to Florida,
Mhm.
I woke up at 3 a.m.
Okay.
and I drove down to Orlando, made it there in like 6.5 hours, which for Atlanta natives, that's about average.
Yes. I've
If
done
you're not
that too.
stopping every hour. I was
Yeah.
driving by myself, so I didn't have to stop for other people. That's the best part about it. But
That's
I
what I
pull
do with
up,
my trips.
pull up to the Six Flags, not Six Flags. Goodness, I got on the Six Flags rail there.
Yeah.
Our tangent. SeaWorld. I pulled up to
Okay.
SeaWorld right at opening, and I kind of
Okay.
stepped out of my car, and it was like, this is kind of the start of this coaster thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was my first real trip. I had been to Dollywood. Lightning Rod blew me away.
Right.
But something about driving
Same here, by the way. Yeah.
to Florida. Yeah.
Yep.
Driving to Florida, kind of the center of it all, and then like looking around.
It's a beautiful drive
Yeah.
in its own way. It has you think, and then you get closer and closer to like the beauty of, like you said, the center of everything. Although I'm from there, but
Mhm.
me living in Georgia now and then
Yeah.
making the commute back, I see the hype. I do. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I like that. I understand. Now,
Yeah.
other side, really quick.
Yes.
Your worst theme park memory.
Worst theme park memory.
hmm
Can I give 2?
As many as you want.
Okay, so Six Flags Over Georgia. Both.
Okay.
Well, this is actually, I guess it'll technically be 3, but 2 and 1, and then another one.
Okay.
Both occurred on Batman. So almost had my leg broken by the gate of the ride. They opened the gate, the people in front of me, because you know how Batman still to this day has the fans in the back row.
Yes.
So 2 lines of people have to go through one queue gate for row 11.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
For people not watching, that is still to this day, as of last week when I went, that is still the case. People were indecisive. Do I want to sit row 11, row 12 in front of me? I walked through. I was the last one through, and whoever the ride up was, unfortunately, probably just wasn't paying attention or thought everyone was through, whatever the case may be. That's also the problem of having a row of your queue blocked and still running all the rows on your train.
Correct.
They closed the gate. My foot almost got caught under the gate and got closed into the gate.
Jeez.
I fortunately was able to squeeze out of it, but my ankle rolled up underneath. Like, it's
Oh
the
my
gate.
goodness.
My
Yeah.
ankle kind of rolled up underneath the gate.
Yeah. I can
Not
picture
very
that.
happy there at all. Also, the visit, I think after that, I was like, all right, Batman's getting another shot, whatever.
All right.
Got on Batman, ride up came through, stapled me. It's like, okay, stapling happens.
Yeah.
A second ride up came around and put it
And
down another click.
Jeez.
I mean, my arms, like the veins in the backs of my hands when we pulled into the brake run were popping out. My arms were throbbing. I was miserable. Just my friend
That'll
was
definitely ruin the experience.
GP
Yeah.
I had a GP friend with me. He's looking at me like, why did that guy come around and just like, it was awful.
I can see
some of the most pain I've been in on a coaster.
Yeah.
And they both happened in the same queue at the same park. Now,
by the way, for those who are listening, is his reaction. It's like he's reliving it and he's not happy. And you can hear it. Yeah.
Still not happy with it. Worst, I think, overall, as far as operations go, if you don't include that in the operations, I was talking about maintenance and rides going down and one train ops, that sort of thing. Iron Gwazi. I went down there this past April or May. Not 100% sure what it was. Ride had just opened like a month or 2 prior. So I was getting down there as soon as I could. As soon as I wrapped up my spring semester of school, I went down there for Icebreaker and Iron Gwazi. Iron Gwazi broke down like probably 5 times that day.
Yep.
I was in the front car, sitting in the train, about to go on Iron Gwazi for the first time.
Oh no.
please step off the train,
Ah,
step back through the gates,
yeah,
and stood there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, I got to get on. I'm like, fine, I got to go
right.
ride the other coasters too. Like, I got to
Yeah,
have fun.
you definitely
Left
do.
and immediately like went up the lift hill like 20 minutes later. I'm like, oh my God, I could see it. And I was already back by Sheeker, which anyone that
Yeah,
knows Busch Gardens, Tampa, there's no short way of getting anywhere. You have to
that's
go
true.
around the
You
entire
do.
park. It's a
Because
beautiful
they
park.
want you
I
to
love it.
stop. It's so beautiful, but they
Yeah.
want you to stop at these other things.
Yes.
So
But you
I
got to
get it.
have a plan for what you want to do if you're a coaster
Hmm.
enthusiast, 100%.
Oh,
So I get
absolutely.
back, stepping into the back row. I'm like, all right, I want a back row ride this time.
Hmm.
Someone with an ADA pass gets on in front. Totally cool. That's all
Yeah.
right.
Right.
They get
Right.
in the train. Please get off the train. Step back. So this time I wasn't in the train, but I would have been in the train. So I'm
Right.
sitting in the row. I'm like, gosh darn it, I am not leaving this time. I think I waited that one out. It was probably like another 45 minutes. Rode it, took my breath away, got back in line,
Yeah.
broke down again.
Uh,
I don't want to keep on going. You can
yeah.
sense a trend here. I
Yeah.
spent probably 4 or 5 hours of my day in Iron Gwazi's queue, got 3 rides.
Hey, finally
Ran into Taylor and
somebody.
Sarah from
Yeah.
Coaster Studios
Oh,
too.
nice. Okay.
And I told them because they just walked in the queue. It was like a 45-minute wait. I was like, "Hey, y'all,
Right.
it's down."
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "It's been down like all day."
All.
And it was
Yeah.
funny because I had run into them at Fun Spot
Mhm.
2 days beforehand. I was like, "They're gonna think I'm
Oh,
a freaking
geez.
stalker,"
Yeah.
because I run into them one place, never seen them before.
Yeah.
Then saw them at Iron Gwazi, and then yeah,
Yeah.
wild
I
story.
get it.
But those are probably my 2 worst theme park
Okay.
experiences I would say that I've had.
Right. Okay. All right. Not too bad. And it's good to know somebody's waited a good amount of time, more than 2 hours. Everybody always asks, "What's the longest time?" By the way, was that your longest time you waited for a ride? But you ended up
Yes.
getting 3 rides on that
Yes, and
compared
it
to
wasn't 4
mine.
hours, like, it was, like, probably 4 cumulative hours. It wasn't
Okay.
like it was throughout the day, but keep in mind the park was open, like, 8 hours.
Of course. Yeah.
So, getting 3 rides and having to wait all that time and kinda
So
sucked.
no, definitely so. So other than that, what is your longest time that you've ever waited
You
for
know,
a yeah.
I think Mystery Mine, I did 90 minutes.
Why do I always put people to shame with my longest, which is 13
Opening
hours and 11 minutes?
Did you do Haggard's opening day?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Oh, I love how I just guessed. You wanna know how long I waited for Haggard's?
No, I don't want to know because it's not 13 hours. Zero. Oh, you walked on to Hagrid's?
I walked on. I went
Jeez.
August 16th and 17th of last year,
Yeah.
and I was no joke. I mean, walking on everything. The longest I
Yeah.
waited was for Ripsaw Falls, and
Right.
that was like maybe 30 minutes, and that was having maintenance issues.
Oh, I was
It's
gonna
like,
say probably because it's hot and people
yeah,
wanted to,
yeah.
get on that big
Velocicoaster was like 30 minutes, but if a single
yeah.
rider lined it, it was like 20, 15.
Beautiful.
Like,
Yeah. No, Hagrid's opening day,
13
man.
hours.
13 hours, 11 minutes. I always got to share that on every podcast
Yikes.
episode. So
Yeah,
that
I might try
yeah.
Tron opening day, depending on when it is, because I might be down there.
That's gonna be a what is that? The digital queue? I forgot the
Oh
name.
yeah,
It's
true. They're
something.
not really doing the
Well,
line. Disney doesn't really do the lines. Yeah.
not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah.
After what did they do?
I should say lines for opening day and open attractions. Like you're still gonna wait in line for the other ones.
Of course, of course. I mean, they did it before. I think all the way up until like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which by the way is very weird because like the whole pandemic thing was already out there, and then they did
I
that.
was supposed to go to Disney May of 2020.
Okay. Yep.
And that hasn't happened. And looks like I'll be going in a few months.
Yep.
Won't be spending like full vacation there, but
do you want to share now that you brought that up and we're close to getting on the train of your favorite roller coaster? It's almost here. We're waiting in the queue as we're having this conversation, and it's already almost our time to get on. But do you want to share what's to come?
Yeah, I've announced it on Instagram, but as of October, I'll be a Florida enthusiast. Temporarily. 10 weeks. I am going on clinic, physical therapy. School requires those things. And I was fortunate enough for my clinic to be placed in Central Florida.
Yeah,
So
super
I'm going to be
epic.
spending a lot of time riding Iron Gwazi and a
More
lot of time
content
riding
is coming your way,
Velocicoaster.
people. Yes,
And
yes.
the Florida content, maybe some vlogs, maybe some reviews, rankings. Because I want to
Definitely.
rank the Florida parks, but there's some rides that I want to get on more to like appropriately be able to rank them. And
Right.
the surf coaster's coming, so I can't really
Yeah,
rank
that's true
SeaWorld
too.
right now.
Yeah.
It's awkward in between. But yeah,
By the way, that's
lots
a
of
park
Florida
with a
content
lot of
coming.
growth, man. Is SeaWorld is just like changing their image
Yeah,
and
I mean they're the thrill
adding new rides.
capital of
Yeah.
Florida. I mean
Yeah.
they market themselves as that.
Mhm.
They are. Like
Yeah, I agree.
that's what they're dedicated to. Like Universal, Disney, Busch Gardens, they still got to play the families
Oh,
somewhat.
definitely.
Busch Gardens less so, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're
No,
doing
I
a great
agree.
job.
I agree. I definitely do agree. But are the people still going to get their weekly ArieForce One construction updates
That
while
is
you're
the
in?
plan.
Yeah.
Christopher is hopefully going to be able to help me out with that.
Yep.
Hopefully, we'll have the coaster open by then, but we know it's running into some delays for whatever reason. It's stuff
Mhm.
that's out of the park's hand. Like I've seen people hating on Fun Spot and hating on RMC. It's like, y'all, it's zoning, it's
I get
permits,
DMs.
it's
Yeah,
inspections.
I'm
I've been
sure you
asked that.
get that too.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah. Yeah.
almost every day. When's it
Yeah.
gonna open? Like I've had some people.
I
I'm planning a vacation. I'm like, I,
don't.
I can't tell
Do
y'all.
not plan a vacation. This is me.
Mhm.
This is me saying it. Wait until honestly March.
Yeah.
March of 2023.
I'm hopeful if Fun Spot wants it open this year, it will be open this year.
I agree.
They've probably only got a month left on construction.
But still a vacation.
Yes.
That it's gonna have heavy queues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to ask, by the way, what are your thoughts on you pay per ride at Fun Spot?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on ArieForce One? Do you think that they should change into a season pass model? Or also, how much do you think in reality should they charge per ride for ArieForce One?
I would assume it'd probably be $10 per ride.
I agree.
That would be my gut instinct.
But what do you think it should be?
Ooh.
Like, if it is that epic of a coaster, how much do you really think that they should charge? $10 to me might be a little low.
Max.
I was on the 20 train.
20 really?
I think that's ridiculous, but at the same
they would have
time,
to raise the price of wristbands.
they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wristbands would have
you're
to be
right.
like 50. I would think at that
Don't
point.
you think that they might do that or might have to?
I think they should. Because wristbands right now I think are 37.
Think about that. You're right. They are. With them building this, and then each week they're essentially building a new flat ride to go along with it. And they're going to keep going and expanding. It's going to be a full day park at some point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're going to need to boost up the prices.
And I would be perfectly happy paying more for my season pass as well. I mean, I got my season pass on sale last November for $75.
Yeah.
Because I was renewing. Correct. And they're super supportive of, their season pass holders at Fun Spot. All parks are, but it's like, guys,
they definitely are, yeah.
They have the golden rule plastered in their office. Like,
yes.
They run their parks.
That's what they're about, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How they say they want to, how they're going to do it, and every week I go to the park, I'm welcomed. They say, welcome back. Like, they recognize me now.
Yeah.
Like, I go through security, and they go, hello. I'm like, hi again.
And they're so, like, we talked about this early on, they're so kind. Like, everybody.
The Arie family,
yeah.
I just adore. I haven't met any of them, but I adore what they've done.
Yeah, I agree. Two things. One with Fun Spot Atlanta.
Yeah.
By the way, do you say Fun Spot America Atlanta or do you say Fun Spot Atlanta?
I say Fun Spot Atlanta.
Okay, same here. Because I'm like,
I say Fun Spot Orlando and Fun Spot Kissimmee as well.
Okay, thank you. I agree. Because some people say like the whole America Atlanta. I'm like, come on, that's too much. Mm. It's already long enough. When you go to Fun Spot Atlanta and Six Flags Over Georgia, what are your two favorite things to eat? Not two individual favorite things, but at each park, what's your favorite thing to eat?
Ooh, that's
so a non-coaster question, even though we've had a few.
So I'm so much as a coaster addict that I don't eat at parks.
But
I hate to derail your question. I totally
have eaten at parks. Well, maybe you haven't because you only went like 2 times as a kid to Six Flags Over Georgia, and then more so recently. So you might not have eaten.
I haven't
at the
eaten
park.
at either of them. Like, I hate to derail your question. Favorite theme park food I've had though was butterbeer.
Yes,
I'll tell you that.
Okay, go ahead and
Butterbeer,
okay.
bar none. Like, hello.
But
yeah,
okay, butterbeer.
Typically water
Yeah,
and coasters.
you have to stay hydrated.
Yeah,
Definitely at these Georgia parks. Yeah, prime time, summertime. But oh my goodness, the train has arrived. It's finally our time to hop on this train. We've been in this queue for near an hour total as a whole.
Mr. DNA is bouncing around in my brain.
Yeah. So we're about to get on the Velocicoaster, which will be my first time getting on it, which I haven't been out. I haven't yet. So this is my first time.
Come see me.
Yes, definitely. Oh, definitely will. But hypothetically, we're about to get on it right now. I have to ask one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we sitting?
Back row.
Back row.
I've done front. I've done back. I've gotten 10 total rides. Mm-hmm. The top hat in the back row is my favorite element I've ever experienced.
Okay.
I mean, I've done the Death Roll. I've done the Mosasaurus Roll. I've done the Outer Bank Airtime Hill and Steel Vengeance. Right. Treble Clef, Fury 325. Those things. The whip that I got over the top of that hat, the top of the top hat, was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And also, it being in my favorite park and the park that made me an enthusiast, overlooking Hagrid's and Hogsmeade.
Exactly.
I just can't beat it. Can't beat it. Back row.
Picturesque and beautiful. Of it. I love it. All right, back row. One more thing about this. Is it nighttime right now, or are we getting a day ride? Or are we getting a nighttime ride? God.
I'm a sunset ride guy.
Okay, same here. Same here. We share that. I like that. Well, that's beautiful. I'm down. I'm ready. We're about to get on Velocicoaster. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening and just partaking in the Q podcast. Another episode once again, episode 4, season 2 of the Q podcast with once again very special guest, Dr. Coaster. The doc has arrived and he is his job and he's left. Yes, it's been amazing. Once again,
absolutely.
Link to his Instagram and his YouTube channel. Also, Georgia Coaster Connection will be listed in the description down below. Make sure you check it out. Subscribe and follow if you have not. Amazing stuff that's happening there and just great content. I respect everything that's going on there. But guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Till our next podcast episode, take care, be well, and have a thrilling day.